Welcome everybody to this March 20th Helpful Village release webinar, where we're announcing new features and changes that we have introduced into Helpful Village. There is a couple of also announcements and things that we need to discuss. So this is the typical agenda of these type of meetings: news, release notes, improvement ideas, and discussion. So let's start that with a few reminders. First reminder is that we have another webinar like this one next month, April 17th, third Wednesday of the month. And we have a webinar, Q&A webinar with V2V next week, March 27th at 2 p.m. Eastern. There's a couple of resources available here: the training docs guide, the help center, the Slack conversational challenge. By the way, that is also news this week. We created a new Slack channel for new and in development villages, and we're also putting more emphasis on Slack. So if you have questions and stuff like that, because we ended up, we were replying to messages and guidelines, in particular for new and in development villages one by one, and that was kind of a waste of time. So we're spending a little bit more time on Slack so that we write the guidelines once and then several villages can benefit from it. So if you want to go return to Slack and have a look at it, I think it's going to be more lively from now on. This is also a slide about next week's webinar. We do Q&A with questions from villages like yours. If you have your questions, we invite you to send them ahead of time to Gary Frankel, who's our national coordinator. He gets those questions and orders and prioritizes them as they make sense. And then also he shares those questions with us so that we have time to prepare and think about the best answers we can provide you next week. So, please send your questions to Gary as soon as you have them. This is what the Help Center looks like. If you go to support.helpfulvillage.com, you will find this page where you can search our documentation and also explore our documentation through the hierarchy of different modules that we have. You can also submit your requests from the Help Center, which is good because if the answer is already there, you'll probably get the answer before you submit your question. Reminder also, support is for bugs on the Help Center. If you have ideas for improvements, go through a different form, which is ask.helpfulvillage.com. So this is just reminders. Now, go into the fun part of the meeting. Woo, here, release notes. So we're going to be discussing the new things that are introduced this month. I actually highlighted in red, as you can see, the date to release. We usually like releasing during the weekend. But here, this release, we will be releasing it sooner because there is kind of some urgent stuff. We made some changes to the contact form, and we want to make sure that we have all the contact forms working for everybody. So we will be deploying to all villages in between today and tomorrow. Some of them today, and then we can get everyone done today. It's great. If we cannot get everyone, well, then we'll do some more tomorrow. So we're not waiting for the weekend. We're doing this as soon as possible, starting today. Okay, now I need to slow down because this is content, right, about stuff. So I just did the reminders I usually do quickly, but this is now the meat and the information. First, we have to talk about MailChimp. So Helpful Village connects with MailChimp for the distribution of your mass emails. And we have been talking with some villages, received communication from MailChimp about the verification of their domain name, and that is a good thing. So if you have already done this and verified your domain name, you don't need to do anything. If you have not done it, and if you have received an email or something, you should probably check this out and make sure that your domain name is verified on MailChimp. So as you can see on this page, and I'll link to this page this is a page on MailChimp, but it's how they're describing there are changes in Gmail and Yahoo that now are requiring more verification of your domain name when they're accepting their domain. So essentially, it's a good thing. It's like in order to limit spam out there, right? There are additional rules to make sure that you're sending emails from an email address from your domain name. And basically what you need to do here is prove that you're the owner of that domain name and then you're legitimately sending messages out. So this is a good thing to do. And now it's more of a requirement because Gmail and Yahoo are getting more serious about this. So there is something to do. The way to do this usually is the following. And this has nothing to do with Helpful Village. So basically, if you receive something from MailChimp, you can do all of this from MailChimp. and follow their instructions. It just can repeat them for you if there are any questions. But essentially, they are asking you to copy some values into your DNS records. And there's a little bit of tech lingo, but the DNS is basically when you own the domain name, wherever you bought it, usually Google domains is what we recommended before. You can go there and create a record and then say, well, okay, I'm putting this value here. And then basically MailChimp is going to go and check that the record that they asked you to add there was added. And because you were able to add it, well, they know you have access to your domain name and you're the owner. So there's just a step-by-step thing. You can follow that. If you have trouble, you can contact us. We'll see what we can do, but essentially is, just editing your DNS records. This connects with another thing. Well, let me say another thing. Most of the time, we recommend that you get your own email addresses for your domain name, right? And this is something you can do. Typically, we recommend to do this with Google Workspace, and you probably have done this already. Then you choose the email address that you're using for your MailChimp communications. Our recommended way is that you use an email address from your domain name that you're verifying here, because then MailChimp knows that, one, you're the owner of that domain, that you're paying an annual fee for that domain name, so there's less likely that you're a spammer or a scammer that is using a free Gmail address to spam the world. So it's what we do. We know we have some villages that use a Gmail or Yahoo or a public free email address to distribute their MailChimp correspondence. And it was possible up to now. You need to understand that with these additional anti-spam regulations, you can still maybe do it, but chances are that anti-spam filters from Gmail, Yahoo, or any other people are gonna not deliver, or put that message in the wrong place. So basically, recommendation is get your domain, use one of your email addresses in your domain name with MailChimp, and then verify your domain name with MailChimp, and that maximizes the probability of deliverability of your messages to your customers. That was a lot of talk. Sorry for the long monologue, but this is MailChimp. There is another thing that I need to say that is connected to this, because we're talking about domain name and DNS records. And we're probably not going to do this today, but probably going to discuss about this next week. We were recommending people to use Google domains for when you purchase your Google domain and configure it. And I liked it, but unfortunately, Google just sold Google domains to Squarespace, which is nonsense. I don't understand why they do that. Now, obviously, Google was not making any money, but it's kind of a mess what they did now, because now it's transferring to the Squarespace. I tried to migrate one of my domains to Squarespace. I could not do the right configuration we wanted to. I mean, it kind of works for www, but I like to do more advanced configuration so that if someone comes to your website and forgets the www dot at the beginning, I like that, well, if they type it or they forget to type it, it doesn't matter. We take care of everyone and we let everyone into the website. I cannot get that done on Squarespace, so it was a mess. So I was on the lookout for a different domain provider. So basically, instead of using Squarespace domains that I don't like, we will make a recommendation that we can discuss next week with a different provider that also provides cheaper domain names. So my thought is that we need to, I already started migrating my domain names out of Google domains into the new provider, and we can discuss that next week. So it's coming. You don't need to do anything about your domain names. Just maybe come to our webinar next week. So we need to talk how to migrate domains to a new provider. Okay, well, enough talking about domains and MailChimp. Let's talk about features. So one of the features we have this month is about the online payment of invoices. So this is some new functionality that we add, in particular for working with Beacon Hill Village, that, as you know, started using our platform this year. And then they have one specificity is that they have members and they pay their membership dues, but they also do additional services for their members and they charge for those services. So sometimes it can be anything. People register for events or some type of service that you charge, and then that's why we created the IOUs that you can create on the member profile. And then we went one step further because you can have multiple IOUs or charges, right? Those are the line items of the invoice. And then we can add them to an invoice. We're creating the invoices can be made available or visible to your members on their profile, and they can pay for the invoices from their profile. So it's a full, or I would almost say kind of new module, which is like the possibility, not only for Beacon Hill, because it's open to all villages, right? To, okay, keep doing your operation, but if you sometimes need to charge your members for something extra and you want to create an invoice and invite them to pay, it now becomes possible. This is something we have discussed in previous webinars, but we're working on Beacon Hill on the first version, and then the second version, there was some fine tuning. So we delayed kind of the deployment of this to all customers. Now it's more stable, so it's going to be coming to your servers, well, this week. So it looks like that, right? So an invoice with several charges, and then basically you can pay those charges, and then, you know, it's a combination of both. In that very same process, right? So we had the possibility interactively or online to create these invoices, right? That you can use for your customers. And we added this other functionality also more recently, which is the possibility to have a downloadable invoice PDF. So the same object that I just showed on the website, right? They can log in and see what they have been charged for and pay for them online. You can also create a PDF of that invoice that looks a little bit like this. That includes the same information, obviously, kind of charges, payments. I was really happy because I think this invoice looks really good. We were working on using kind of the positioning so that you can use kind of window envelopes and stuff like that. And I think it looks really good. So you can start testing this and you know, trying these invoices for your villages. So this is really fun stuff. Now we get off these payments and IOUs, and I want to maybe do a demo afterwards. So this is just the announcement of the features. We can see those on a demo later today. These are also new features. Now is a couple of new features on the events module, okay? So the events module has the possibility to do free events or paid events, right? Where you can sell tickets, and you can sell tickets online for those events. So that we had already before. Before we had a waiting list for the free events, right? If your event has a limited capacity, let's say of 10 people, and then the 10 people register, then automatically we had a button that says, add me to the waiting list for free events. We didn't have that for paid events. So essentially people were selling tickets when there were no more tickets. Well, then that's it, out. And we realized that it was a good idea to add a waiting list for paid events also. So now when all the tickets are gone, there will be a button that comes up that says, well, add me to the waiting list, which allows your members or to do it themselves, or the admins do it for them. Just say that people are interested in this event in case some new spots become available. Okay, this is also feature kind of was there, but now is better. It's a little cleaner. When you create your event, and this is also for paid events, you have different settings, right? You can have the possibility to sell tickets online, right? Like then suddenly people can purchase tickets with their credit cards. And then there is this other option, which is pay online or pay with cash or check, etc., which actually translates on the registration form when you're purchasing tickets into this new option that is called pay later, right? It's like I want to purchase one ticket or two tickets to this theater or to this event that I'm attending. And then if you set the settings of this event to, you know, allowing the possibility to pay later, the person can come in, they can create a pay later, you know, select the pay later payment method, and then purchase a ticket. And that is going to create an IOU. So we're talking about the charges, right? Something that we're going to bill the members. So we did this small modification so that if it's pay later, it's going to be, this person will be registered for the event, and then there is automatically an IOU that is created for this purchase, this ticket purchase. And then obviously you can produce an invoice later, basically to charge the member for the payment of this ticket purchase. Cool. Okay, this is events. This is the last modification in the events module. And we rearranged a little bit the checkboxes. And this is in this edit event page, right? So most of these checkboxes existed before, so you can just put them together is a little prettier now. And there is a new checkbox. So checkboxes, as you can see there, is should the transportation question be asked, accepting donations for this event, enable comments. And the new checkbox is do not display, so actually hide the end date for this event. When you're creating an event, you're creating a start date and an end date for this event, which is also, I mean, we say end date, but it's also an end time. But it happened that sometimes people were creating an event and they did not know how long was the event going to take. And it was a problem. In my mind, it was like, well, you can go in and then make an estimate, right? It's going to probably take about 2 hours. But for this village we were discussing with, it was a problem to basically making an estimate of how long will it take. So now you need to enter an end time because we need that for reporting. How many hours of events have we organized? But now you have an extra choice. And if you check this box, well, then the end date and the end time for this event is not going to be shown anymore. Okay, so it's an additional option. If you don't want to use it, nothing changes because by default it's going to be deactivated. Ooh, text messaging. Okay, here is another one where I would need a glass of water because it's going to take me 2 minutes to talk about all of this. Okay, so we have a text messaging module that is optional, right? It's a premium feature. We have some villages using it, not all of you. So if you don't see it on your platform, it's normal because it's something you need to activate. Now for text messaging, so you can get a phone number and you can send text messages to your people, members and volunteers and stuff like that. So we had that before. That's not new. It's just a reminder that we have that option. Now, what is new is that there are new anti-scam regulations. And this, I heard something on the news, probably goes through Congress and stuff like that. People are concerned because a lot of people send text messages scamming people. And we are very happy about this because number one target of those scams is older adults, right? So it's a good thing that there is new regulation so that people don't send text messages as easily as they used to do before. So as part of these new regulations, there is a new required opt-in process that we implemented in this new version of the website. So basically, there is a very clear parallel with MailChimp, right? So MailChimp is like, oh, you're basically sending messages out that can be considered promotional messages or spam. Obviously yours are not, but if you think about the bad actors out there. And then MailChimp set up all these life cycle where people can unsubscribe themselves, where people can be archived or clean or pending, etc. So there's all this MailChimp status is a big deal. And then there is obviously something similar with the text message. When we give you a template of the text message that goes out, right? We suggest you with a structure of that text message that says, well, this message is from let's say Helpful Village, and then you write the message, and at the end of the message is a good practice to say, respond with stop if you want to unsubscribe, if you don't want to receive any more of these messages. So basically, because we add that at the end of your message, I mean, we invite you to do it, that helps us get through the anti-spam filters of the telecom operators and stuff like that. So it's a good thing to leave it there. It's not, I know it's not pretty. You don't want people to unsubscribe, but having it there helps get your messages delivered. So we suggest you do that. So basically there are two checkboxes, two tags that work for this life cycle, right? So obviously if you start sending a text message and someone replies to that text message and they say that their message includes the word stop, well, we need to stop sending messages. That's the way they unsubscribe from the text messaging service, right? In MailChimp, you have a link, right, for stopping the not unsubscribing from the mailing list. In the text messaging system, is you reply to the text message saying stop, okay? If someone says stop, right, that text message is going to go back into the village because basically your Helpful Village platform can send the text messages out to your members, but the members can also respond to those text messages, right? And they will be logged into Helpful Village. We send you an email when the village receives a text message, okay? Now, if that text message that comes back, we're basically going to scan that text message content. If that text message includes the word stop, if it includes the word unsubscribe, we also do it. We're going to check this checkbox that is, as you can see here, is not editable, right? So just our system will do it. It's going to be a tag that says SMS unsubscribe. From there on, if someone unsubscribe from SMS, which is short message, whatever, it's kind of text messaging, Well, then we're not sending text messages to those people because they explicitly said they didn't want to receive those text messages. And you, with this tool, you can also see, well, basically who unsubscribed from your text message service. Okay, that is the unsubscribe. But now we need to talk about the opt-in SMS subscribe. What we were doing before, right? Is like there was this assumption of saying, well, you know, we send a text message and we can send people text messages until they unsubscribe. You see what I'm saying? And with the new anti-scam regulations, we had to fill out some paperwork and stuff like that and show them that we were, you know, better people than that. And actually, we're doing an opt-in process. We are only sending the messages out to people if they have basically requested or accepted to subscribe to the text messaging service. Okay, so there is a couple of things that we can do, a couple of forms I will show in the next screen. Actually, let me show it right now and then I'll come back. For example, here on the volunteer application form, you see that you recognize on the left, you will have a checkbox there that says allow text messages from well, this is Queen Anne at Home, which is one of our customers, can be JVSO, can be, I mean, obviously the name of your village. If they check that box, right, on the volunteer application form, it's also on the member application form. We also added on the contact form. You see, as you can see on the right-hand side, people can check that box, and that's the opt-in process. They are telling us, right, that they want to subscribe to the text messaging service, and once they accept to subscribe to the text messaging service, then in the background, we're going to check this SMS subscribed checkbox, right? And then when we are sending text messages out, well, we only do it if this checkbox is there, right? Now, as you know, the tags are tags that are visible on the person's profile. It's also a group, right? So you will find the same thing if you go to people management groups, and then you will see a new tag that is called, well, these two groups, basically SMS subscribed and unsubscribed, and you can see who is in there. Okay, now let me discuss a little more with the opt-in process, okay? I showed you one way to opt in, which is you go on the web form, volunteer application form, membership application form, send contact, you know, contact form. All those are three forms that people can use, you know, to register on your website. And that will automatically check this box for you. Now, they also accept kind of an oral opt-in. See what I'm saying? It's like if you're talking with a member, you have them on the phone. It's like, well, you can ask them, right? Oh, do you accept to be in our list of text messaging? Then you can go into their profile and check that box for them. You see what I'm saying? That allow that. They also explain that you can have kind of a paper form, right? Some of villages have an extended, you know, I don't know, application form or joining form in PDF, or you can add a checkbox there, right? That people you can send out by mail or in print or whatever. If they check that box, you can come in here and check that box for them. You see what I'm saying? We need to understand that we want to be good citizens, and then, you know, we are implementing this opt-in process. People can opt in, but the whole thing is always, well, let's make sure that we're good citizens, right? And then we invite people to opt in, and we don't force people that don't want to receive the text messages so that they get it. Because if we force people that don't want to receive those text messages, they're going to complain to the whatever authority of telecom authority or federal authority, and then we're going to get in trouble because we're going to get banned as bad citizens. So we want to be good citizens and try to do this the best way possible. There is another form for subscription that I have not finished, but I think should be easy to do. Is kind of the opt-in process with a text message. So I believe that if the person sends a text message to your number and they include the word start, right? In the same way we do stop to unsubscribe, you can say start, and that basically resubscribes you. So that's also another viable opt-in method. I have not added it here, so it's going to be available, you know, probably, I don't know if I have it for this version or for next month, but we will allow, you know, basically SMS opt-in subscription either through the web forms, through text message, orally, or through PDF. You can come in and check it yourself. And then the other thing that I was thinking, but we have not added it there yet, is like, well, through my profile, right? Like the person can go to their profile online and then, you know, find an option that says, okay, I want to subscribe to text messages. So we're trying to work on different channels to make it easier for your members to subscribe to text messages and to opt into this process. Whew, okay, that's a lot of words. hope I have another feature that is lighter on words. So this is text messaging opt-in process. Yeah, there is another thing I didn't say. So basically, there is these modifications on the website. There is also some paperwork that we need to do on the back end, with the text provider where we're providing phone numbers, etc. So we have done it already for Jersey. We did it for Queen Anne at home, also in Maryland. And then we are doing that also this week for the other villages that are waiting on the paperwork. I don't know. I didn't see Carol Cookson on the call, but I know we have. She had been waiting on the text messaging service for a village in Portland, and we will be doing that this week. Okay, next feature. This is connected to events. Actually, this one is a feature we already discussed about, but because we had not deployed, we're holding the deployment of the new version for the changes in the financial flows. I wanted to mention it as a reminder for you. Okay, so let me explain how this goes. This is a feature we introduced. I mean, there are two parts of this feature. One is when you create a service request, okay, there are different statuses that are available. One of the status that is very frequent is open. Open means, and you see the column here, right? Open, open, and open. All these whites here, or blues or something. All those mean that those service requests are visible and open for volunteers to take, right? So they're ready. You have other statuses. You have matched, for example, when that service request has been paired with a volunteer, it's matched. When it has been done, is fulfilled, and then there is also a couple of canceled and fulfilled and stuff like that. There is another status that is important, is requested. Okay, and you can come to the list here on the status drop-down box and see the requested ones. So now, what is requested? So requested is because your villages have the option to choose what is the creation flow for service requests. Some villages allow their members to go, you have three options for the creation flow. One is only the admins of the village can create service requests. People can send you emails or call you on the phone or whatever. And then you go in, an admin goes in and creates the open service request. So that's the flow that is called admin open. There's another one that is member open. So some villages allow their admins to create the service request. They also allow their members to log into the system and create a service request for themselves that is immediately visible to the volunteer with a status open. There's a third flow, and this is not new, it's just a reminder, which is basically member requests. So in that case, the admins can always create a service request. Now, in member requests, it means that your members can put in a service request, type it in and submit it, but it will get the status requested, which basically means waiting for moderation, waiting for approval from the admins of the village, right? So requested means waiting for approval from the admins. So this is something that happens with that creation flow when someone, for example, needs to kind of book a trip to a doctor appointment. If you're on that creation flow, basically we're going to request it. And then something that we did here is that from now on, even when you go to the list of service requests, by default, the status that is being shown here is open. But we added this so that if there is something unrequested, which means it's waiting on approval for the admins, we're always going to show this list, this red message at the top saying, hey, there is something that needs attention from the admins to basically review it and approve it, right? To see if what the members submitted is something that needs to be approved, etc. What we're doing before, we're sending an email. So basically the admins would know that through the email channel, but also we thought, well, wait a minute, interactively, if there is something that is on the requested status, this is something that should be reminded to the admins because that should be basically validated and cleared so that requested status is empty. Okay, so that's the first part of the explanation about what is the requested status and also how we are always displaying now. Now, if you want to check on work on these requested statuses, right, we always display the message here, but you don't see them. If you want to see them, well, it's very easy. Just go to the status here filter, and you, instead of open, which is the default status, you can check, choose the status requested, and it's going to show you all the requested service requests. You open the service request, you read it. If it's all good, then you change the status into open, and then it becomes immediately visible to your members, okay? Okay, so that is the requested. And then how to find these requested, you find them under here, under the filter status. Okay, so that's the first part of the explanation is we have more visibility for your requested service requests. Second part of the explanation, and it was connected because we did one that the other got done, is that for event registrations, when you're asking the transportation question, which means someone wants to register for an event or a party that you're organizing, and then you're asking them if they basically if they need a ride or they can they come by themselves, or if they can carpool and take somebody. Basically, if they need transportation, we made it so that it is automatically a service request will be created by the system at the time of the event registration, right? And because we know this person needs transportation, we're going to create a service request of type transportation. Now, we do that automatically, and we do the best we can because we know the date, because we have the date of the event and the time of the event. We kind of do something with the description of the service request, because kind of going to the event for which we have the name, you know what I'm saying? So we can do something, but we don't put it open to volunteers, because it's like, our best guess is to do this. You can, for example, for the pickup time, by default, I think we do something like, 1 hour before the event, because we don't know, we're not being super smart about it. But basically, a lot of these service requests will be done, but basically it will be created as a requested service request, which means, okay, automatically it's almost kind of ready, but not visible yet. It needs approval from an admin. So same thing. You go here to status, you start seeing it, you open that service request, you read what we created automatically for you, and then you can add, remove, edit the text, change it a little bit, customize it, and then change the status to open. And then basically, once it is open, then basically it's just a regular service request. So it was a long explanation, but basically we put together 2 and 2, basically with the requested service requests, and then and the connection with the events module. I had a question from Carol Cookson, but I haven't seen her in the list of participants. But I don't know. There's a lot of people in the meeting, so I don't know if she's here. If she's not here, we'll discuss about that meeting. I think Kevin is here. So Kevin, you can tell Carol we can discuss this question next week about there was this question about this requested one. So if there are questions about this, we can discuss at the Q&A webinar next week.
Actually, Manuel, I do see a tile for Carol in
Okay.
the members, but I'll remind her as well.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we can discuss about this. So it's fairly new, and because we've got questions also about people that saw this red line here but didn't know where to find them. Well, it's here in the drop-down box. But we have a Q&A webinar next week, so we can always spend more time, and you can speak more next week when we do the webinar. Thank you, Kevin. Okay, next improvement. So this is something we did for Helpful Village International and our friends in Canada. I saw that there is Tom on the call. So we display the membership types and membership fees and donations and all of that. We do obviously for our US customers in US dollars, but our friends in Canada, they have Canadian dollars. So we added the possibility to display Canadian dollars and do the transactions and membership type fees and all of that in a foreign currency, in this case Canada. Tom, I know you're on the call, and we can also discuss about this next week, but we did this display. This display is actually customizable. We thought this was the best, but I have seen some other choices also in the past where people do kind of $2 signs, and that basically people know that if you see $2, you don't need to write CAD for Canadian dollars. So anyways, this is kind of can be fine-tuned, but now we can also differentiate depending on the currency of your local village. Cool. I want to discuss about this one, and this is my last slide about improvement. So basically, this is a print screen we did from our Slack, which is a collaborative website. So I'm going to say 2 things. First, just the facts. We created a new channel on Slack. So if you log into our Slack workplace and you go to the left, you have announcements, best practice, bugs, general, etc. There is one of them that is called new and in-depth villages, and anyone can subscribe, right? Actually, I think you need to go in and choose to be in that channel or something like that. You can search it or whatever, because I've seen people that are invited to go in and they need to do something, kind of join that group. Now, so I'm excited about this because usually when we're getting new villages or in development villages that we're starting, often we always get the same questions, right? Like, oh, and we like providing guidance about what are the best, first steps you should be doing. In this case, you can see here, we're suggesting, well, start working on your website, start collecting the contact information, and then start, adding MailChimp, and then we added 4, 5, 6, 7. So now we're thinking we're going to be using Slack more, so that we don't repeat ourselves, with individual emails to each village, but kind of basically write it here so that the message goes out to several people at the same time. And I'm saying this for new in development villages, but actually for everybody. So just we are more alert on questions and announcements. I know there are big fans of Slack, and I know sometimes because we have great village experts that were responding to those questions, we were not as present, but our Helpful Village team is going to be more present on Slack also. We are always thankful for people that respond, the expert villages that respond first, because they tend to be quicker. But we will be backing you up. So if you have not been on Slack before, or in some time, I would recommend coming back and then trying to getting some information there, because I think it's going to be more active from now on. And I wanted to say two things. The new and in development villages is especially useful for new villages, because you have the build your website, create a person, set up MailChimp. If your village is established and you're a big expert, you don't need to be in that channel because maybe it's not useful to you, but you can. So even if you're not a new or in development village, anyone can sign in. It can be useful information. Now, what I was saying is not only about the new and in development village channel. We will be more active in all channels anyway. So, always put your questions in the channel that is more appropriate for your case. Perfect. And that's it. I think at this point, I'm going to pause and I'm going to move on to demo time. But if anyone has any questions, this is a good time for questions.
Yeah. Hey, Manuel, there were a couple of questions posted under the meeting chat. And I was looking up one of them. It was from Colin. Service request. When you look at service request on your iPhone,
yes,
it doesn't come up. I can't select, open and whatnot. And actually, the title bar is different. And I don't know if that's something you do or just happens in the web magic going to a mobile device.
Yes. So let me explain. You're right. Filter. We should do that. I was talking with Colin, so maybe he posted that on the chat. I have not read the chat.
Yeah, he did.
I'm talking, I cannot do that. But oh yeah, so I can see that now in the chat. So yeah, so Colin, I know he raised this point, and it's true. We cannot filter it from the mobile version, and we should. So we're going to be adding that so that on the mobile version, you can filter that service request by status and stuff like that. So it is missing. So it's a good point that it is raised and it needs to be added.
Okay.
I wanted to provide an additional explanation is that, yeah, the title, the header is different. The number of columns is also different, but that was on purpose because basically, obviously the service requests list has a lot of information and columns and stuff like that work well on a desktop computer. On a mobile phone, obviously the space is smaller. So we built a dedicated screen for mobile phones that contains fewer columns, right? But makes it a little easier to read what is in there. So yeah, it's normal that it's different because it's a screen that is dedicated for mobile. But it's also true that we can add that capability to the mobile page too, so that we can filter those services.
I also had some questions on text messaging. You want me to bring them up now?
Yeah, absolutely. Great.
Okay. Well, I saw that you added as a tag SMS. Now, if somebody unsubscribes, can I just check that back and they'll be a subscriber, or do you gray that one out too?
Yeah. So for now, it's just tags. So, so
because since you put it there as an admin, I was able to go to groups, pull up that group, and add all the active members to the SMS group. So now I can send text to all members.
Good.
Um,
Yeah, so those are tags. So essentially, yes, you can manage the tags and put people in the groups, except we
Yeah,
are
that's
checking
good.
the boxes, right, in that checkbox automatically, depending on the content of the text message. So even if you added them there, if someone texts stop, we're gonna go in, we're gonna uncheck, the SMS subscribe, and we're gonna check the checkbox and SMS unsubscribe.
But you don't gray it out. I could go back and check it again. They say, "Oh, I didn't mean to opt out." Just like we have
for
in
now, I
MailChimp
think so.
often.
Yeah, I think it's grayed out on the customer, on the user profile. But if you go to the
Okay.
group, I believe you can take it out.
Okay, very good. That's all. It looks great.
Okay,
I'll test it out later and let you know.
Yeah. I was a little afraid because, God, I went to their website and actually, there's another good point I need to bring here. With these other regulation first, I hate paperwork and stuff like that, right? And all these regulations you can imagine with, these acronyms and stuff like that. We did this, and I'm very happy because we tested this with Gary, and now that we filled out some paperwork, now we got the messages delivered, and that was great. There is potentially other forms that they wanted us to fill out, because you can basically do other things, kind of register a brand, and then if you pay something that builds apparently credibility to, text message and stuff like that. So Gary, just what I'm saying is, because we are very reasonable with the number of messages, I think there's no problem at this time. You see what I'm saying? But if there is something, we can always, take additional steps to build credibility, to go through the anti-spam filters and stuff like that. But I'd say for now, it's good. I think we have such a small volume that we won't get in trouble. If there is trouble about deliverability, there's more stuff we can do, kind of.
Well, sure. Concerning the volume, we have over 200 members. Can I send out 200
Oh, yeah.
text?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes. Yeah, they were
I'll
asking
do that every
about
day.
an estimate of the volume that we had. Said for now 1,000, etc. But it's just an estimate at this point. Anyways, yeah, let's go like this, and then if there is anything else, we can go back in, and if we need to register the brand with them, we can always do more paperwork. Just so you know, if someone wants to do more paperwork, we can. Perfect. Okay, I don't know if there are any other questions on the chat, because I have a hard time speaking and reading at the same time. But if someone has a question, just unmute yourself and ask the question. Otherwise, I'm gonna move on to the demo side. Up. I need to prepare a screen where I lost my windows. Well, I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna start sharing my PDF. Well, or no, let me see. God, sorry, give me a second. I need to reorganize my windows here. Share screen. This is it. Share my screen. Okay. This is demo. I'm trying to think about what I want to do here. So let's go with this events list. I'm gonna go full demo mode. So it's gonna be quick because I like doing quick. Some crazy. So there is a golf tournament event that we create that is it will not have a good event category, but let's say that this is good. Let's say that this is something that we're organizing in summer, in June 20th. It works for me. Say to 1:30. And then these are different options that you are familiar with. Who can register? So you have events that are open to all, or some events that can be only for your members, only for your volunteers, or members and volunteers. In this case, it's open to all, anyone that comes in. These options existed before too, is that you are asking people to RSVP or not. In this case, yes, we're asking people to RSVP. And then here, you can have the possibility to sell tickets. Here is like, these are regular events, no online sales, so just people can register for this event. You have these other options. This is tickets for sale with credit cards. So basically, someone wants to purchase a ticket, they need to go online, purchase the ticket with a credit card on your website. And if they don't put their credit card in, well, the ticket is not delivered. Okay, so that's this option. And then there is the other option, which is tickets for sale with credit card, check and cash. Obviously, credit card, they can do it online if they want. Check and cash, they will not do it online. Basically what this means, so credit card, which is they can do it, or check and cash, which is the pay later, right? So let's try choose this one so that we can do pay later demo. So we're selling tickets with a credit card, check, or cash. Well, these other options, all the same options, By the way, these are the new checkboxes that have been rearranged, and the new option here that is do not display the end date for this event, that you can check if you want it. Okay, I could not upload a picture, but I will never find a picture that is good in 5 seconds. And then a description of the event, all of that existed. As you know, I can save this event. So now we have a new event that is a golf tournament. It's sad because I know I have a good golf picture, but I didn't add it. Once you do that, you can add ticket types. And then I'm gonna do, you can have different type of ticket types. You can have, for example, ticket for members at a given fee. For example, here you can say there is 2 ticket members, and then you can have ticket members at $10, and then you say another ticket type that is, for example, for non-members, where we're selling tickets for more, for $15. And you can create as many ticket types as you want. In this case, I'm only gonna create tickets for members, and you can make available how many tickets you want. In this case, I'm gonna do, there is 1 ticket available, which is obviously not kind of realistic thing, but I need this for the demo because I'm gonna purchase a ticket and then I'm gonna show you how we can see the waiting list. Okay, we're creating a golf tournament with 1 person. So I guess the person that purchases the ticket is gonna win the tournament. Okay, that created the event. So now here, we're done with the event. It now exists. So now we offer the possibility for people to purchase the ticket, right? And then ticket, there is only 1 ticket type. If there were other ticket types, they could choose them from here. I can now check out. And then from checkout, I'm logged in as an admin, so I can search the member. If I was not logged in as an admin, I cannot search the person. And I would be asked to enter first name, last name, etc. But because I'm an admin, I can search someone in my database and then just register. And then I can pay with these different options: credit card, ACH, check, cash, other, pay later. In this case, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do pay later, I guess. And then I accept the terms of service, and then I confirm the purchase. Okay, ticket successfully acquired. There was an email that went out, etc. And then I can see here that I'm registered now for this event. This is great. And now I wanted to show you, this is one of the things I wanted to show you. See, because there was only 1 ticket available, once the ticket available is gone, now we have add me to the waiting list button that appears. So anybody else that comes to this page for this event, they will see the waiting list. They can click on it. They can register for the event, but instead of getting a ticket, they will be added to the waiting list for this event. Now, if I go in and I look at the attendance list of this event, you can see that there is my registration for this person that was created at this date. And basically, the status is I'm registered and this pending payment, because I said pay later, right? If I had chosen credit card and paid right away, this would say paid. But in this case, not paid. It's just well, it's pending payment, okay? So that is great. Now, another thing that I'm gonna show you is that if I go to the person, by the way, you know that if this is a link, this will take me to the user profile, right? It's the exact same thing as if I search the person from here and then I did 3 more clicks, but I don't like doing 3 extra clicks. So I'm gonna just click on this button. If I click on the link, it's gonna open up the person profile. So this is me, it's good. And then I'm gonna look at a few things here that happened. First, if I look at the activity tab, and I go to the event registration or event participation, you see, I see the event participation registration. These are different events I have registered for, as you had before. And obviously I purchased a ticket for the golf tournament in 20th of June. So I see my registration for that event and I see that there is a pending payment, okay? So this is just the registration. So this table, event participation, showing me the registration to the different events. But actually, there is another thing that was interesting here, is that if we go to a different tab, to my pay tab, and in my pay tab, I can see that there was an IOU that was created for me automatically, right? Ticket order purchase for golf tournament on 6th or 20th of June 2024. So basically, if you offer the possibility to someone to pay later for a ticket event, it's not, I mean, you can see that on the event participants list that there is, well, they owe you money. But we're also recording this on his profile, right? So maybe imagine that this event is gone and then we are moved on to something else. We didn't want you to forget about this money. So basically this information is going to be recorded as an IOU on the member profile. So basically this person owes you $10, as you can see here, right? Which was the price of the ticket, no surprise. Okay, while I'm here, I'm going to create another IOU, okay? Just for fun. You can always come here. Again, create an IOU. And then basically, let's say that the reason is that so this is a village t-shirt purchase. So imagine that you have merch, okay? Merchandise from your village, and suddenly you're selling your tickets. And then you have a ticket that it costs $25. And then basically the person is purchasing it today. Basically, we give kind of 30 days to pay for this. You can add some comments here, like a new t-shirt design, gray. God, I'm not write gray. I'm gonna do yellow because gray, I don't know if you put an E or an A. That's cheating. And then owed. So basically, the member also owes us $25. So this is the creation of an IOU. It can be about anything, right? Sometimes it's transportation or whatever type of service, but basically, this member owes you money. If you go back to the pay tab, and you go to the list of IOUs. Now there are two IOUs. There is the first IOU that was included there for the ticket purchase of the golf tournament. Actually, this IOU is created even if it's not the admin, even if it's the member himself or any other person in the community chose the pay later option, then the IOU is going to be created for them. Now, now that you have the IOUs, at one point, sometimes, and some villages do kind of at the end of the month, you can create the invoice now, right? Because I can create an invoice whenever I want. Some other villages decide, okay, we are creating IOUs during the month, and then at the end of the month, we create an invoice with all the items that we need to charge for, right? But at any time, basically, when I can click on this today, I can do this at the end of the month. If I do it today, I can create an invoice. There's going to be a confirmation message that says, are you sure you want to create an invoice? Because, this kind of financial, we want to make sure that this is what you wanted to do. If you say yes, the system is going to create the invoice details that are like this. So an invoice for Manuel Acevedo for an amount of $35. This invoice is owed. The due date is by default 30 days. Basically, it's owed since today because it is when the invoice was created. We added some traceability here so that we are telling you who's the admin that created that invoice and when, right? So this is 11:58, obviously Pacific time. So this is exact, 2 minutes, kind of 20 seconds ago. On today. And then basically that invoice will include obviously the charges that we want. We have this checkbox system here so that by default I can choose what charges do I want to charge for? Because sometimes maybe let's say that, today I want to charge only for the golf tournament because for the t-shirt I need to do next time. If I uncheck this box, then this will not be included in that invoice. So you choose what charges you have. And then from here, you can always click also on pay this invoice. And then through pay this invoice, you're offered the possibility to pay and enter a credit card payment or a check payment if someone send you an invoice. On this same, so this is the invoice details page that is visible to me as an admin. Now I want to show you because what happens on the member side of things. So the member, when they log into the platform, if they go to my profile, right? So this is different. My profile is not the admin profile. It's kind of my profile that a member or volunteer can see. It looks a little similar because it has my picture, etc. But you will notice that here the tabs are different, right? So we don't have notes, we don't have documents, etc. I know the screens are a little similar, but it's different. This is basically what they can do. And basically now when the person logs in and they're a member, if there are unpaid invoices, we're going to have a note here. Only obviously if there is unpaid invoices. And then if that is the case, the person needs to go to the pay tab here and they will see the $35 invoice that we just created, right? So the member can, it's optional. If you don't want to create an invoice for your member, they don't see anything here. But if you created an invoice, the invoice will be visible to them. And then they can open it from here will come to the same type of screen. If they are a member only, they will not have the possibility to remove charges. So these checkboxes are only visible to admins. Here I'm an admin, so I can see them, but the members cannot. And then from here, I can just pay the invoice, and it's gonna point me to the pay form. There's another thing that we can do for now is the possibility to download an invoice PDF. This invoice PDF for now is an admin feature. So your members cannot see this invoice PDF because, you know, we always like deploying new features step by step. For now, the PDF is only visible. It can only be downloaded by the admins that can then put them in an email or in an envelope and send it out, etc. So this one is not visible to members yet, but it's quite likely, because I kind of like it, that once in the future, once this has been reviewed and approved and we get more feedback from villages, that this a possibility to download the invoice PDF, I believe it should be made available to your members too. So let's try that. Download invoice PDF. Bah, can't believe that. Oh, of course, had an issue. So that was not good. But I can show you what the invoice should have been. And it will, you know, will download to your computer, and you have a PDF that looks like this. So obviously it's something we did while it was working for the invoice for Beacon Hill, and then basically just invoice, address, logo, invoice number, invoice dates, the same charges and payments. So in this case, we produced the invoice after some payments were made, right? So it's all going to show the charges, and charges is another way to say IOUs. I didn't know if it was very formal to say IOU in a PDF document, so I wrote charges, but for me they're synonyms, charges and IOUs. And then if there are payments that have been applied towards these charges, because you can have multiple payments per charge, per invoice. In this case, this invoice is not even fully paid. You know, we owed $100 and we have paid 60 so far. So this invoice still owed, and you can add multiple partial payments until this invoice is paid. Okay, let me go back to my browser. Just give me a second. Let's share screen. Poof, poof, here. Okay, obviously I have some fun this afternoon, so I need to check why this PDF broke, because obviously it should not break when it's on your server. So I need to fix this, but then the other thing you can do from the invoice, and the member can do, and you can do it for the member, if they send a check to your office, you can click on pay this invoice. And then pay this invoice is going to send you to the payment form where basically, you know, you're paying for this invoice. The purpose is suggested to you. Payment for invoice originated on 20th for $35. And then here I can enter my payment method. In this case, can be a check or ACH if they're paying with the bank, or if they send cash, etc. If you do with the credit card, well, basically, you know, pay with credit card, and then basically you have the usual flow. I'm not going to enter the credit card. You want me to enter the credit card payment? I couldn't. Actually, it shouldn't, because we are past the hour. But you understand the flow, basically. The most important thing is not the payment, because the payment, you already know how it works. The most important thing was, okay, how are we generating the IOUs from event registrations? You can create IOUs from service requests, and you can create a standalone IOUs. These IOUs, you can generate them. I mean, you can add them to a generated invoice. The invoice is visible to you and to your members. You can download a PDF of that invoice, send it to your members, receive a payment, enter the payment, and then associate the payment with that invoice. Okay. If someone has a headache, don't worry, stop here. I see we're past the hour, and I know we have a webinar next week. So I hope you appreciated the demo. I know we have more stuff to discuss, so I think that the next week's webinar will be good too. Please remember to send your questions to Gary ahead of time, either about the things that I just showed today or any of the other new features that are added to this month's webinar. And then I'm sorry I didn't have time for more, but we're meeting again next week, so it's going to be fun. Gary, did I forget anything, or did we get pretty much all we wanted to talk about?
No, I think you got everything on text messaging. There's were a number of questions in the chat, so check the chat.
Yeah.
Also, the meeting recordings, that question came up. So next week we'll direct them to the right place. You only have since March of 2023, and I know you posted recent one somewhere.
Wait, for what? For the webinar recording?
This meeting, you
Yeah.
record this meeting and you
Yes.
post them online. And the last one was March of 2023.
That's not possible. That's weird. Yeah, I'll check it.
I didn't, I
Yeah.
thought I saw some
Yeah.
recent ones.
No, we
So
have
check into that
uploaded
and let
some
us
more.
know next week.
Yeah, so definitely,
Right.
I'll upload this one very soon, either today or tomorrow. So it will be available. So we always upload it to YouTube. People can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Will be notified when there is a new video that goes up there. We also go on Slack announcements, and we put the link to the new videos there on Slack too. So if someone is not on Slack, please send us a ticket, because we can send you an invite to join the Slack space.
All right, man.
Okay,
Thanks
perfect.
so much.
Thank you, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.